Hello, everyone. This is Bishoy Mikhail, and I'm going to introduce my last assignment for week 8. I'm going to share my screen. So this is week 8 assignment, proposal presentation, and this is Bishoy Mikhail. And my proposal is about bullying and school violence. And as everybody know, that bullying and school violence have emerged as significant concerns, and there are a lot of consequences for students, educators, and generally in educational system. In this proposal, I'm trying to examine the relationship between bullying and the school violence. There are specific questions I will try to answer in this proposal, and these questions are: what is the nature of the relationship between bullying and school violence? Another question is, how can this relationship be effectively addressed to create safer school environments? Through this proposal, I aim to investigate complex dynamics between bullying and school violence. I will also try to define the research question and hypothesis, summarize existing literature on the topic, and outline the types of data to be collected and analyzed. After gaining a deeper understanding of this critical issue, I hope to contribute to the development of effective prevention and intervention strategies to create safer school environments. My hypothesis for this proposal is that I hypothesize that there is a positive correlation between bullying and school violence, indicating that higher levels of bullying are associated with increased instances of school violence. I also hypothesize that effective interventions targeting bullying can lead to a reduction in school violence incidents. The literature review of the proposal will provide a comprehensive overview of previous research on bullying and school violence. It will also include studies exploring the definitions and the manifestations of bullying and school violence, as well as the factors contributing to their occurrence. It will also examine existing prevention and intervention strategies and how much they are effective. And after analyzing the literature, I aim to identify knowledge gaps and establish a solid foundations for this research. There are some specific literature review considerations. The first one is risk factors. Through this proposal, we may include individual factors like aggression, how self-esteem, and other factors affect for the occurrence of school violence and bullying. We also may examine family factors such as parental neglect, violence at home. Other factors such as school factors may be included. And these factors may include lack of supervision, weak anti-bullying policies, or societally factors like community violence, media, and followings. Another thing we will consider in this literature review is violence consequences, because there are specific consequences, and these consequences may include physical, emotional, and psychological outcomes, such as increased anxiety, depression, academic difficulties, substance abuse, or even self-harm. Another issue or another consideration is the impact on academic performance, because it is clear that victims experience lower grades, reduced attendance, increased dropout rates, or difficulties in concentrating and learning due to the negative effects of bullying. Some other concerns may include types and forms of bullying, because there are different types and forms of bullying, such as physical bullying, verbal bullying, social exclusion, cyberbullying, or sexual harassment. One more consideration is effectiveness of intervention. This research evaluates the effectiveness of various interventions or anti-bullying programs implemented in schools. Lastly, there is another consideration about recommendations for prevention and intervention. It may include suggestions inform the development of evidence-based policies, programs, and practices aimed at addressing bullying and school violence more effectively. The research methodology. The research design will employ a mixed methods approaches combining qualitative and quantitative methods to obtain a comprehensive understanding of the relationship between bullying and school violence. The research will also be conducted in multiple schools, utilizing both surveys and interviews to collect data. Surveys will be a standardized questionnaire administered to a representation sample or a representative sample of students across different grade levels, and they will gather information on experiences with bullying and exposure to school violence, in addition to demographic data and potential risk factors. As for interviews, they will be conducted with a subset of students, teachers, and school administrators, and these interviews will explore personal experiences, perceptions, and strategies employed to address bullying and school violence. I'm going to present a sample of each of these two. The first one is survey. And this survey will be standardized questionnaire, and it will be experiences with bullying and exposure to school violence. The first section in this survey is about demographic information. So the one who is doing the survey is going to check these: gender, grade level, age, ethnicity. Are you a student or a teacher or a school administrator? The second section is experiences with bullying. They are provided a table, and they need to indicate the frequency with which they have experienced any of the forms of bullying in the past year by selecting one option for each item. So they go through the table. They have to pick never, rarely, sometimes, often, or very often. For example, verbal bullying like name calling, teasing, insults. The one doing the survey is going to pick one of these: never, rarely, sometimes, often, and or very often. Section 3 is going to be about exposure to school violence. They need to indicate the frequency with which they have witnessed any of the forms mentioned in the table about violence in their school in the past year by selecting the same options from the previous table. And these about physical fights between students, bullying incidents, gang-related activities, weapons possession, threats of violence, and or vandalism or property damage. Section 4 in the survey will be about potential risk factors. They need to indicate their level of agreement with some specific statements by selecting one option out of strongly disagree, disagree, neutral, agree, and or strongly agree. So the first example is, I feel safe at a school. He or she has to check one of these if he or she strongly agrees or disagrees, or disagree or neutral or agree or strongly agree. I feel supported by teachers and staff at school. I have witnessed adults intervening in bullying incidents, and there are clear rules and consequences for bullying behavior at my school. Other examples in the table, you can see them and or read them. Section 4 is an open-ended question, and I ask the people doing the survey to please provide any additional comments or suggestions regarding bullying and school violence at their schools. And I confirm in the end of the survey that this survey will be kept confidential. As for the interviews, this is a sample of the interview. It's a standardized interview guide exploring experiences, perceptions, and strategies regarding bullying and school violence. It is divided into 5 sections, apart from the introduction and the conclusion. Each section of these includes some questions that people during the interview need to answer. Section 1 is personal experiences. Section 2, perceptions and awareness. Section 3, strategies and interventions. Section 4, support and resources. And the last section is Section 5, future prevention and interventions. When it comes to data analysis, there are quantitative data obtained from surveys, and these data will be analyzed using statistical techniques such as correlation analysis, regression analysis, and descriptive statistics. Another type of data is qualitative data, and we will get that from the interviews, and this data will be analyzed using the thematic analysis to identify the recurring themes and patterns. And the findings we can get out of these data sources will be integrated to provide a comprehensive understanding of the relationship between bullying and school violence. Ethical considerations. This research will prioritize the well-being and confidentiality of participants. Informed consent will be obtained from all participants, and anonymity and confidentiality will be maintained throughout the study. Ethical guidelines provided by relevant institutional review boards will be strictly adhered to. What we expect from the results and contributions of this proposal. By analyzing the elected data, we expect to gain insights into the nature of the relationship between bullying and school violence. The finds we will get will contribute to the existing body of knowledge on this topic, potentially leading to the development of evidence-based strategies and interventions for preventing and addressing bullying and school violence. Additionally, the research will shed light on the experiences and perspectives of students, teachers, and administrators, providing a valuable platform for future discussions and policy development. The timeline will be conducted over a period of 8 weeks, including data collection, analysis, and report writing. And a detailed timeline will be developed outlining the specific milestones and activities for each phase of the research. To conclude, I would say that this research proposal outlines a comprehensive study on the relationship between bullying and school violence. After careful examination for existing literature, collecting and analyzing data, and considering ethical considerations, this research aims to contribute to the development of effective strategies for creating safer school environments. And the findings we hope to find or to get out of this study will be disseminated through academic publications and presentations to stakeholders, and create awareness and fostering positive change in the field of bullying and school violence prevention. These are some of the references that helped me design my proposal. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.